Let's talk about Carti. I feel like, I know he keeps saying baby boy on the way and whatever. Like, let's look at this post. Why Vieto world? Baby boy on the way. Word. Like, I'm sorry, but people are losing interest. This is coming from someone who, like, Carti is clearly my favorite go-to artist. I have been listening to, in my break, newer music Until Japan. I even listened to the Lil Wayne album that we'll be talking about soon, later on in the stream. But I just feel like people aren't caring as much for certain reasons. Now, he just dropped iMusic. I'm listening to that. Still love the album, but he's just too accessible. Like, what was his brand prior to iMusic? It was being mysterious. What was this brand for Whole Lotta Red? Being mysterious. I know y'all remember this era when literally, like, Auntie Ronnie Lee would post a picture on her Instagram story of a red moon, and we'd be like, oh, does this mean that he's dropping on like March 26th because that's the next red moon? Like, it was crazy. It was fun. It was like it was almost like a fucking archaeological dig trying to figure out when the Egyptians created the pyramids. It was that crazy. And so now, because he's posting pictures online all the time, he's on the Weeknd's tour, mind you, which I know y'all don't give a fuck about this. Who cares about the Weeknd tour? I've been saying this, like, I'm so over the Weeknd collabs. Like, don't get me wrong. Rather Lie is a good song, even though we just talked about it might be AI, and then they got Timeless and whatever, and like, so yeah, those are cool songs, but I'm sorry, I do not give one fuck about another The Weeknd collab. Plus, this type of stadium tour is just not the type of tour that is good for Playboi Carti's music. Sure, he's hitting like a larger audience, a pop audience. The Weeknd arguably is top 3 biggest artist in the world. I get it. It's a good look. At the same time, though, I don't know if it's a good look to be an opener. Playboi Carti could have literally went on his own tour after iMusic. He literally, like, is the reason a bunch of people go to Rolling Loud, because he doesn't go to any other festival. He doesn't really perform all too much, and people want to see him perform. He performed like the iMusic for the first time, the debut at Rolling Loud. They did a whole like exclusive thing where they put iMusic at the top of the stadium where you could see it in helicopters and shit, even though none of us really own one of those, or like if you had a drone. So I get it. But he could go on his own tour and it would be crazy. There'd be so much more content. But literally the only content we see online about this The Weeknd and Playboi Carti tour is like people sitting down, not knowing the words. He's jumping around. He's changing the songs. So he's like, oh, y'all don't know that one. And it's just not it's not a good crossover, if you ask me. I know they have collabs. So like, sure, there is some crossover, but the Weeknd fans do not fuck with Carti like that. Right? He could go on tour with Ken, Lone, Homicide Gang, and do the exact same thing he did with King Vamp tour, and fans would go crazy, and he'd probably make more money, and people would be more hyped about iMusic. But I just saw Duty's tweet where he said, like, I've been saying, and this isn't a diss at Duty, he knows I fuck with him, but it's tweets like this. I'm finally seeing people agree that iMusic wasn't worth the wait. I've been saying this shit. But what was the biggest argument with Uzi after Eternal Atake? Why that album fell off? Allegedly. Even though, great album still. Even though it wasn't like the best version of the album, I still take V1 over whatever. But you get the point. It was because he didn't go on a tour because it was COVID. And so like he didn't get to perform those songs. And I know Carti's performing them, but it's just not to like his actual fans. But like, if you're not performing the songs and like, I don't know, continuing this brand or concept of iMusic with your own tour, with your fans, like it kind of just dies, which is exactly what happened with Eternal Atake. Plus he's working on, or he's trying to drop Baby Boy, as we've seen like a million times. He keeps saying like Baby Boy on the way, blah, blah, blah. But like, Do we believe him? No. Would we have believed him even if he was on tour? Still no. However, like there would still be more hype around it, but I don't even know if I'm like waiting on that at this point. Like I'm cool off of it. I'm cool off Baby Boy, especially considering he recorded those songs probably like the same time as I Am Music. So it's probably gonna have the deep voice or whatever. And I want to hear what y'all think about this. A fan on Twitter said a bunch of hot takes. One of them was Carti needs to ditch the deep voice and stop rapping on basic beats. Now, I don't think he's rapping on necessarily basic beats because, again, it's not fair to do that. He just dropped only one project. So, of course, it's all going to have like a similar type, you know, it had the mixtape type sound to it. And so it's all going to have a cohesive sound to it. But the deep voice, sure, I kind of get. Like he kind of needs to switch it up at this point. But again, if he had a whole tour, I feel like people would think so much differently, and people would still be hyped about I Am Music. And that being said, too, though, I'm going back the other way. I still think I Am Music is the best album thus far in 2025, hands down. Is what I've been listening to. What else are y'all listening to if y'all are hating on it? That's all I'm saying. And then Uzi needs to stop. We can get into that a little bit later. But yeah, I still like I Am Music. People just hating. But I don't really care about Baby Boy, to be honest. It's only underground fans saying this shit. Is it though? I just think it's stupid. And it's not only just a Carti thing too. If you've probably seen like a lot of Ken snippets been coming out, I think Lone is on a better trajectory than Ken right now. I'll say that though. But speaking of Ken specifically, a lot of his snippets, whether he previews it or someone else posts the snippet for him, like a leaked snippet or I don't know, somebody just got an unreleased song. A lot of people are saying something I've been saying a while too. That's why I don't even like listening to Ken snippets, because they all low key do kind of sound the same. And like I've been seeing a lot of notion about how much chaos do we need? Like it's time to move on from a great chaos to more chaos, and then we're done. We're done. That like a great chaos was a great album, so we wanted to extend it. Totally understand that. And I liked More Chaos, don't get me wrong. But I think we're good off that. It's time to move on. And he's moving on to The Experiment, which allegedly is the next project's name. Where is it? The Experiment. Whatever. Y'all saw the tweet, though. So, I don't know. And the whole Opium branding is based on being mysterious and low key. Like the only thing that's been going on in 2025 is Opium posting like Carti posting fit pics, drops an album too. He's ready to drop another album. Ken dropped an album. He's already talking about the next album. There's new snippets. Lone's dropping again. Nobody cares about Homicide Gang, so let's just take them out of the picture. But like they're low-key flooding it too much instead of, and I get it because they want to capitalize on all their hype. And also, I don't really know if Carti can even go up from here, from I Am Music, just because that was such a big moment in rap. He sold like 300K, roughly. Like, can you even get bigger than that? Kendrick Lamar, GNX, I think his last project coming off the hype of Not Like Us, only sold, I want to say like a little over 300K. Let's look that up, actually. Kendrick, GNX first week. 319. So can Playboi Carti actually get bigger than the 300K? So should he just continue on, like continuing posting, dropping projects while his hype is still at its highest? Or because the next project, you know, people are going to rip him in 3 years if we wait, and then it doesn't sell over 300K. Because if you're not progressing in hip hop, low key, like people just start claiming that you fell off. And I get the argument because like you're going down, but still it's just hard to replicate that type of success. Kind of what we thought about Whole Lotta Red though, when he sold 100K, and then we're like, oh, can he actually get bigger, especially with being like a niche rapper? But I think he definitely proved that hypothesis wrong